What's up? Welcome back to the Metalhead Car Show. By now, we've all heard of AutoTempest. All the cars, one search, and the sponsor for Car Trek for all 10 seasons they've done. Today we're going to go through AutoTempest and just find some of the cool cars listed. Let's get right into it. The idea of a cheap V12 car is super appealing, but even more than that, the idea of a cheap Aston is super appealing. You can find cheap V12 cars around, they do exist, but an Aston Martin's just a little bit more than some of those. So checking out the cheapest V12 Aston Martin we can that's currently on AutoTempest as of this date, 2002 Aston Martin DB7 convertible. These things look so good in black. I don't think I've ever actually seen one of these cars in black. They're absolutely stunning to look at. Looks great in black, beautiful interior, and likely plagued from the automatic transmission. I'm saying beautiful in black, but I don't know how much longer this paint has left in it. It looks like it is fading. But even with that, this thing is still beautiful. That rear end screams Jaguar to me, but also the Aston Martin DB7 was supposed to be the Jaguar F-Type. So, kind of makes sense. And listed at $23,500, or for all my Canadians out there, this. Would I buy it if I had the money? If it was manual, maybe. If it was a coupe, I could suffer with the automatic. I saw Pantera recently in Ottawa. It's been like 10 years since I've seen one. And oh my god, they're f***ing expensive. This one being the cheapest car listed at almost $130,000. What's crazy about this is when I got into cars, you could get a Pantera for $30,000 Canadian. So seeing the cheapest one at $130,000, what makes no difference, $130,000. Oh my god, looks beautiful, but Now, as much as all that frightens me, I gotta say this burgundy one's drop dead gorgeous. These things, I think, always benefit from the wide bodies. This one having a color matching front bumper along with the wide body and the Delta Wing. Is that a Delta Wing? Yeah, the Delta Wing. Yeah, this thing's gorgeous. Like and subscribe to the channel. Maybe one day we can make this happen with a Coyote swap. But let's change it up. Let's go with something a little bit newer. A car I would generally really like to get. And by that, I mean a very fast version of what I'm currently driving. Focus, advanced search, and we'll go to trim. Type in the long name of RS. Cheapest one we can find is $33,900, which isn't that too far off from Canadian pricing. The Canadian cars, the cheapest one I've seen is maybe $28,000. So, interesting they hold value kind of this well, or they're consistent at least. I always had a thing for Focuses. I've had two in a Mazda 3, which is just kind of more or less the Japanese Focus. Use a lot of the same parts. So I am right into the Mark III RS. As once again, if you've watched older videos, isn't that much of a shocker. But how about getting into something with an LS in it? One car I've recently looked at, which I want to look up here, was a Gen 5 Camaro. A very early Gen 5 Camaro at that. Now as I go into the trim for this, we'll go to years, and I'll do 2010 to 2012. We will label it as a V8, and I'll leave the transmission for now, but go out manual. Oh my god. The cheapest one right now on AutoTempest is $13,000. That is $7,000 American, less than the one I found in Canada. Jesus. Saying this isn't a write-off. It's not a write-off. That is actually unbelievably cheap. And it's not like, again, this isn't a V6, it's an SS. This makes almost 430 horsepower from an LS2, question mark. Yeah, it's pretty basic. It has fabric seats, probably not much in the way of options on it, but that would be a wicked starter to a project car. The paint is bad. I see why it's this price. It looks like it was red at some point, and that has changed. Actually, yeah, if you see in this photo with the hood open, it was very much red at one point. So it needs new wrap, assuming it's wrapped. But still, $13,000, that's a wicked entry-level Camaro. And finding these things for under $20K is completely normal. Any Americans watching this are going to look at me like, yeah, no shit, man. In Canada, it's very much different. It's baffling to me you can actually get a car with in excess of 400 horsepower for less than $15,000. That is wild to me. God damn it. Me working out the numbers of how to import one of these and if it would be more beneficial. It's going back to kind of how we started. I think the idea of getting a budget-friendly Lamborghini or Ferrari is right up a lot of people's alley, especially at Bullion. So we're not going to put in any real searches for it. We're just going to let it go. So the winner is 96.5 for a Gallardo Coupe. I'm assuming that's either really weird lighting in the photo or a wrap. Not to knock all these cars, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing. Either way, these things in black actually look great, so not the worst thing in the world. Early E-Gear car. I think a lot of the Lambos that are still in price range are going to be E-Gear. Whilst we're on Lambos, you kind of have to check what's the cheapest V12 Lamborghini you can get. Once you get past the barrage of tractors, you finally find a Diablo with an LS swap. What you finally realize is just use the website's features and put in V12. 2006 Lamborghini Murcielago in black. Truly one of my dream cars growing up, and the Murcielago SV is definitely my favorite car, so this is very much a bucket list thing for me. Paddle shifters, black on black on black with what appears to be roadster wheels. Not a bad combination for $245,000 one day. So we're going to do one more, and I think we're going to go look up Porsches, and specifically the 911. Might be a bit of a cop-out answer, but let's face it, it's one of the most popular sports cars in existence, and I think for a lot of people, the idea of getting a Porsche 911 is kind of this I've made it sort of thing. So what we're going to do, we're just going to look up Porsche 911s, any gearbox, any generation, that part isn't going to matter, and just simply look up what the cheapest is. How do you get into one of these? So the cheapest one right now is a smidge under $14,000, but it is a rough car. So we're going to skip that one and go to this 99 Porsche 996 911 in, it's a manual, in automatic. That's not going to be for everyone, but also it's not going to be a terrible entry-level sports car. Just that's 15.7, but you're still going to likely need to do the IMS bearing and the intermediate shaft. Let's round up and say 20. I said I wasn't really going to do any sort of adjustments to it, but I'm going to look up manuals. 01 911 convertible with a what appears to be brand new Porsche in the photo. So can't really run off that. It's wild to see the difference between an automatic and a manual. As when the last car was a slice over $15,000. This one for what's essentially, half the mileage, but also a manual, is $18,500. I think the mileage is going to have a big factor in that, but still. So we're going to wrap it up here. That was the first found on AutoTempest. What do you think? Would you want to see this again? And if so, what would you want me to look up? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I post on Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I'll see you later.